Hey everyone, Joe Lawrence with Business Credit Workshop, and today I'm with Mike from BD Capital. Mike is a really awesome guy. I've known him for many years, actually met him through mutual friends, and he has actually lent our company money on a fix and flip that we're working on. One of the most flexible lenders that I've worked with. Obviously, everything's built on trust and everything like that. But I was really impressed with how he handled our file. So much more of a personal approach than some of these like internet hard money lenders and things like that. So Mike and I were chatting the other day, and I was like, you know what? I have a pretty big audience of real estate investors that are looking to do fix and flips and buy and holds, and they're always asking me where to get money. Obviously, you could just hit up any hard money lender that you find, but why not work with someone that, or at least consider working with someone that I've worked with before and that I could vouch for? And I like the fact that BD Capital is not necessarily like closing your loan and immediately flipping it. There are some new hard money lenders that have come on that are doing real estate loans that have only come on since the market got hot a few years ago. The truth behind it is they don't have any money. They're basically just brokering and moving things around. So they don't have a lot of like in-house decision capabilities, which BD Capital does. So what we want to talk about today is creating opportunities. It's really a seller's market. There are multiple situations where there are multiple bids, and I've seen right now houses going over $60,000 over asking price, if priced correctly, a lot of highest and best and things like that. So as a real estate investor, how do you get deals where you can create value? Because it's not as easy as just buying a house from a distressed seller, fixing it and flipping it. There's not a lot of distress right now for sellers. The market is crazy hot. So, Mike, why don't you say hello and talk about a little bit about who you are, what you guys do.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate the introduction. I'm excited to speak with you and your audience today. It's my understanding that your audience is, throughout the country. So I'll try and include as many tidbits as I can. But, BD Capital's primary focus right now is New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania. But we do have the ability to land all over the country, if it makes sense. That being said, we also, movement towards obviously the southeast part of the country. So, even before COVID, we had been in discussions about opening up a branch or a location in Nashville, Tennessee, which we did. And that has been going extremely well. We have the office here in New Jersey. We opened up the branch in Nashville. So some exciting things on the BD Capital standpoint.
I can see that when we first met many moons ago, your organization, which was already a very large, profitable, wealthy organization. And this is a few moons ago, was it 4 or 5 years ago? But not whatever that. It was, you guys were expanding and into more of the hard money industry. And so over the last few years, I've seen like tremendous growth. People know who you are now locally, which is great. And yet you've maintained that personal connection, which again, I think is one of the biggest differences between you and other hard money lenders is that you're in so much more control. Like I teach find portfolio lenders, so we go and work with local community banks and credit unions because they lend their own money, they do in-house decision making, in-house underwriting, right? And so we try to encourage our students when they're getting lines of credit and business credit cards, hit up those local banks, the local decision making. And here we are in real estate with a hard money lender that has their own money. That's basically, your own fund, which gives you more control of the process and things like that.
It gives us ultimate control of the process.
It does, right? I mean, so that's exactly why I love working with you guys. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on today. Let's talk about creating opportunities, man. You said a few things that really piqued my interest, and I know everyone wants to kind of hear about that. So what do you got in mind for today?
No, for sure. When you talked about the organization I worked for, we do have the BD Holding, which is the property ownership and acquisition company. So, we're a family real estate office. So, that's all we do here is real estate. And then BD Capital just is the private money lending arm. When I first met you, we only had $3.5 million on the street. Now, well over 75 million, so things like that. And that's with COVID and, the lack of these opportunities that I want to talk about. I know a lot of my borrowers and a lot of the investors are a little frustrated right now, especially in New Jersey and New York and Pennsylvania and areas like that, where you're not able to foreclose on anybody. You're not able to evict anybody. So who's going to go buy a property with a tenant in there not knowing how long it's going to take them to get kicked out,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It could be a long time.
so you live it every day. So there's no foreclosures, there's no evictions, there's no all this. So, what are my investors doing? What are my borrowers doing? BD Capital, first and foremost, we do have the ability to lend on any type of real estate access. So we are able to do new construction. We're able to do subdivisions. A lot of lenders aren't able to do those types of things. So our top borrowers are coming to us for new construction opportunities and subdivision, whether they're building 9 to 11 houses, something like that.
Oh, wow.
We've done a number of those type projects over the past couple months. Another scenario similar to that is somebody, invested in a house that sits on 2 lots. So, they're going to sell the first house and they're also going to develop the second house. As a lender, we love having a hard asset with, a house there. And then, for the investor, it works out for them too, obviously, because they're getting 2 houses. So that works out perfectly. Another type value add situation is a burnt out building in something like Irvington, New Jersey. And we just funded one of these. A conventional lender can't do it because you're not going to get COs or anything like that. And we're able to fund the acquisition, part of the acquisition, and then we're able to fund the construction. And then the borrower's takeout is going to be a refinance. So value add propositions like that, right now, those opportunities, for top borrowers or where we see them going. And then, I talked a little bit about, geographic expansion from the lender standpoint. So, from the borrower standpoint, I just mentioned those 3 types of things where they could look for opportunities. But as a lender, like I said, we also see opportunities in some Southeast markets. And like I said before, we established a home office in Nashville, which is going tremendously. And we see a lot of opportunities that way too.
You can do a lot of different types of transactions and deals that many hard money lenders may not be able to do, and traditional lenders obviously are steering away from right now. I love the fact that, obviously for the right type of borrower with the proper qualifications and all that, you would be willing to look at buy and hold properties where the exit strategy would be on a refi. Some hard money lenders won't even consider that, as the borrower, as the exit strategy, which is kind of a pain in the butt. If you're doing the Burr method, which is what I did, when I bought 14 rental properties, and they were all basically buy them and fix them up, get them rented, and then refi out. So I heard you say that's very cool.
Yeah, we want to, for our customers, we want to be there for them. So as markets change, as situations change, we want to provide them with the flexibility to do what they want as far as their investing goals. So absolutely, that's the benefit of the type of capital structure that we have. We maintaining full control of the process from the second we get an intake call to the day we get paid back. We maintain flexibility. It's kind of like, if it makes sense, we'll do it. We're kind of common sense people. We obviously we gather as much information that we can. If we like the story and we think that it makes sense, we're gonna try and fund that loan for our borrowers.
What type of information typically do you gather when you're doing an application?
It is a little bit different. If you're talking about a single family or two family fix and flip versus, a commercial property. But, as far as if you're doing, a single family fix and flip, we're just gathering basic information before giving you a letter of intent. And that information is, the address, the purchase price, the scope of work, what you think it'll be worth, and just a little bit about your experience. And then we have internal underwriters. Actually, Tate just hired one other person to assist them. So we have 2 internal underwriters that are going to be working on the files. They're going to take that information and then issue a letter of intent. What differentiates us a little bit too is we are looking a decent amount of due diligence, property due diligence anyway, prior to issuing the letter of intent. Some other lenders will just give giving information, and then they end up cutting the loan.
I've seen guys do that. They don't, on their first hard money loan, right? And they get involved with some fake broker or whatever, or the guy has no money, and they charge an upfront fee. They charge like $1,000 or something, and then they don't even show up to the table for the closing. Whereas I could I can tell you guys, BD shows up. I mean, and
Well,
you
yeah,
guys
for
work with
sure.
a lot of my friends too. It's not just me as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, that's exactly right. So, we're looking to make sure everything makes sense. We're taking a quick look before, we send a letter of intent. So that way, when we send the letter of intent, we're confident that we're going to be able to perform on what we're offering. We're not just going to throw a letter of intent out there, rope somebody in with a commitment fee, and then kind of, at the end of the day, pull the rug from underneath them.
Yeah,
That's not what we're interested in building relationships. We're working on long-term relationships who can develop with us.
yeah, absolutely. I love that. So how are your clients, your borrowers, how are they creating value add opportunities where it's hard to get a deal at a discount?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the fix and flip market. That's why I didn't really touch upon that. Those types of deals are going to be very hard to find. But for experienced borrowers, experienced builders, there are new construction opportunities. There are subdivision opportunities. So that's kind of what my guys are focusing on right now when
Okay.
when the fix and flip market is not there. Hopefully, because we're able to lend on the larger commercial stuff, there are one-off opportunities too with these multifamily stuff. And there's also, some of these lenders, I've heard from several different borrowers, like Finance of America, for example,
Yeah.
they committed to 1 year loans or even 18-month loans. They're not willing to extend anybody. They're not willing to give any loan increases. I'm
Right.
not saying BD Capital's in business of doing that, but we are able to be flexible if things happen. And we're also seeing a huge opportunity as a lender to pick up some of these loans that Finance of America has no appetite to service anymore. So what they're really doing is throwing their borrowers under the bus, saying we're no longer committing any more capital to you, and leaving them to fend for themselves. That's against our philosophy, first of all, but on an opportunistic standpoint, it's giving us opportunity to pick up new loans and new borrowers and prove to the borrowers why they might want to stick with BD Capital long term.
An example of a value add opportunity would be you pick a town where houses are selling the $600,000 to $700,000 range. You buy a little tiny house, right? You buy a little 3-bed, 1-bath for 300 grand. And then you could add a level and
Yep.
make it what the neighborhood calls for. You just walk, you look around. So if you look around, you see a lot of big houses and you see that one little ranch, that's the house we want to buy, right? As your borrower. And like you said, assuming we have the experience and such at a level, now we're in an opportunity that didn't exist. Because, if you fixed it up, renovated it, and sold it, you probably break even.
Right.
You buy a 300, you put 50 into it, it's worth 4. I mean, give me a break. So you're not making any money. But if you could sell it for 600 or 650 or 700 or whatever, then it could be an opportunity that you create in a market where it's hard to find opportunities, right?
100%. And I don't know if I'm sorry to cut you off, but one thought I had with that is some of these modular companies, you could literally just drop the box on top of like a Cape Cod. So you just, the foundation in there, you cut the top, so that could be an opportunity for more value add, even if you don't have the experience. So the modular companies do all the engineering, they do all the permitting. I've seen a lot of that in Bergen County. Yeah.
I like that.
So all those little Cape Cods, they just rip the roof off and then throw a new top on.
So you probably know some modular builders, which ones are actually good and bad.
We do. And that's the thing with that is when we do modular financing, we're making sure that the builder knows what they're doing. Like maybe the investor's never done a modular before, but as long as their builder has the experience and specifically working with that specific modular company, because we're all different, those are the types of things that we're looking at when we're looking at modular.
How long is that build time on modular?
It depends on towns with permitting and everything.
Okay.
But once you get the foundation in and the permit to throw the box on there, it could be soup to nuts, 2.5 to 3 months.
That's fast.
Which is, and from an investing standpoint, when you have a hard money loan where the rates are higher than conventional banks,
Yeah.
the name of the game is to be in and out as soon as, as fast as possible. So, in order to recycle the money and make more money. So to me, it's a fantastic opportunity to shorten your window and, be in and out of projects quicker.
So you want to be in and out of the property in a short period of time. Is that not a long period of time?
Yes. Teaching Joe now.
Now I know.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So that's really cool, man, because modular's been talked about a lot. It's a hot topic at conventions and things like that, Facebook groups. So it's cool that you guys have experience in that industry and you're lending in that industry, because that to me seems like a pretty simple process. You find that small little single family, you cut the top off, you do modular, so it's built in a warehouse. They bring it over on a truck. They plop it on there, and I'm imagining a few days you get your final done or whatever you got to do, like patch it together, whatever it is. And I've actually in LBI down the shore, I've looked at modular homes. You can't tell because it's just a house. I mean, what's the difference? It's not like it's not like you can see where they glued it together or something.
They're built in a lot of ways. They're built better than stick.
Right. It's in a controlled environment too, right?
Yeah.
It's built in a warehouse.
Yep.
That's so cool, man. Glad you mentioned that. So yeah, as we start to wrap up, what else do you want to chat about? What else you got on your mind?
I think we touched upon, a lot of the things that we wanted to touch upon. I would love for anybody interested in, investor loan to reach out to me. We have a full sales force now. So love to look at your deals and, show you exactly what we could do for you. And if you know anybody too, please send them my way. We're happy to try and, work something out. Joe, I'd really, again, like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you and your followers. And, I welcome the opportunity to speak with all of them if there's any questions.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate that. And so if you're watching this and you have an opportunity that you're looking to get funding on, definitely reach out to Mike. He'll go to bat for you. He's one of the good guys, which is good. I always talk about in my training programs, having an advocate at the lending institution that can go to bat for you. And I always say they're not miracle workers, right? They're not going to pull a rabbit out of a hat or whatever, but having someone on the inside is it's a big advantage. So if you are looking for that type of long-term relationship, reach out to Mike, do your own due diligence and all of that. But I've worked with Mike and he's helped out a lot of my friends as well. And I find that they're a lot more flexible than most other hard money lenders. And I think that's really hard to find right now because a lot of hard money lenders are using third-party money. They're using some hot shot hedge fund from New York. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of my friends that went and created hard money loan companies overnight. But the truth is, I've seen this before. I've been here for this is like my 14th year in business, right? So I watched in around that time period when I got in the Great Recession, hard money lender companies come and go. And I don't like working with those companies because what's the point? It's like dating, right? Like I don't want to build a relationship if I don't see it going anywhere, or you're going to disappear the next time a recession happens, because guys, this is the market. It's a cycle and things are going to happen again. And you want to work with a company that's still going to be there despite market fluctuations. So I can definitely vouch for BD Capital. I can vouch for Mike. And I would say, go check them out and see what they have to offer. So your contact information is on the screen, right? You can see it here.
Yep, that's my cell and my email address is michael@bdcapital.com.
Awesome, man. All right, well, thanks again for coming on. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button. If you enjoyed the video, if you have any questions, you can shoot them down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes out. With that, appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.